Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and I'm here today to talk about labels and ADHD specifically. And the first thing I want to kind of bring up is, have you ever noticed that when you label something that you no longer pay attention to it? And what I mean by that is you label it and you really don't think about the details of it and how something might be different. For example, the color red. You can label the color red, and you see red all over the place. But if you really pay attention, that there's lots of differences in reds, textures, shapes, different shades of red. It really runs the gamut. There's a whole continuum of red out there, but you never really stop to think about it if you've actually labeled it red. It's just like you kind of gravitate to that and kind of move forward. To me, the same travesty happens when you label individuals or people, particularly those with ADHD, because once you label them with ADHD, it's interesting to me how there's this one-size-fits-all solution. People are very generic all the time. Well, sales careers are perfect for those with ADHD, when quite contrary is true many times. Many times it's a real toxic environment. I've coached tax attorneys before, FAA pilots. It really runs the gamut. And my point really here is that you got to be careful with labels, because you do, when you do label something, you cease to really kind of pay attention to it. And I have to tell you, as a coach, people often come to me wanting to share assessments that have been done with them, and they're surprised when I describe to them that they really don't want to see them. And the reason I don't like those assessments is it blinds me to what's there, and it also pigeonholes them. I like the ability to really kind of look at the individual and coach them as an individual, not as a label, and it's so much more powerful. So if you're watching this, I encourage you to begin to look around at things that you label and pay more attention to them in the detail. And when it comes to you, pay attention to how your ADHD is different from everybody else. Digress here for a second, just occurred to me to share. I have coached many people before with ADHD where I actually forbid them to read any more books, forbid them to watch any more webinars or go to any more conferences, because when they go, they tend to listen to those descriptions of who the people are, and they tend to think that they're themselves, or they kind of mold themselves to the label that's being presented. Again, just another example of, once you label something, you no longer pay attention to how it's unique or how it's different, and many times that can get in the way. So the point of today is if you have ADHD, let's drop the label. If you're a mental health professional or another coach, when you're working with somebody, drop the label, because if you really pay attention to that person individually, you'll find that they're very different. As I found, that everybody with ADHD is very different. As it once said, when you found one person with ADHD, or you've seen one person with ADHD, you've seen one person with ADHD, because it runs the gamut. I hope this helps you. Join us, subscribe to Attention Talk Video. We release great new tips each week, and also visit our archives. So we hope you've enjoyed this show. Take care.